Movies are really timeless creations. Today, I could go back and watch a movie from the 1950s, and I assume that people 70 years into the future will do the same with today's films. The point is, these things we create are going to have effects for generations, and you cannot measure their impact from the first few months after their initial release. Yet, with box office performance, that is the main thing studios are focusing on. It's a Wonderful Life placed 26th in the box office for movies released in 1946. Yet, look at the highest grossing films of 1946 and none have maintained the cultural significance that It's a Wonderful Life has. Box office performance in no way relates to actual quality of movies released, but still it sucks when good movies come out and don't get the money they deserve. For every Barbie, there's a Scott Pilgrim, and for every Scott Pilgrim, there's a Transformers Age of Extinction. A crappy movie which still somehow racked in loads of money towards the box office. I think some recent attention has been drawn to this with the release of The Fall Guy and Furiosa, both movies which have received above average to great reviews, but had struggled at the box office. If you look at the top 3 grossing movies of the year so far, I would say that both these movies are probably better than the third and even the second spot. Dune is at the top spot, a movie loved by critics and wallets alike though. So reasonably to max out box office, does it have to have some quality? Here's a graph, it's the top 20 highest grossing movies of 2023. Now let's reorder them by IMDb rating. Now, can IMDb rating be completely trusted? No, not really. Still, there seems to be almost no correlation between a movie's reception and its box office performance. That being said, reasons for box office performance can be plentiful. So let's review it. Fast X was the 5th highest box office earner last year, yet also one of the lowest rated on IMDb. A big reason for this, like many box office releases in the last decade, was Fast X released to Chinese audiences, which netted it an extra $139 million in the box office. Without this contribution, it would drop Fast X to number 10. Of the 20 highest grossing movies in 2023, 16 were released in China. About half grossed over $10 million from those markets. The only one able to gross over $100 million was Fast X. Recently, there has started to be a falling out of American movies in China, as they develop their own capacity to make movies more appealing to their own culture. Thus, Americans simply don't have the same pull that they used to in Chinese markets. For movies like Fast X, they're the last of the dying breed. It is getting harder and harder to rely on China for box office success. For those who somehow survive, though, they can still make a lot of money, even if the movie isn't all that great. Guardians of the Galaxy 3 was Marvel's real only success in 2023. Their other releases really underperformed, with the Marvels not even cracking the top 20. For Marvel, it seems like the negative critical reactions for their movies have really started to catch up for them. I think looking at the initial graph of box office performance can make it seem there is no relation between critical reception and performance in the box office, but there is. Marvel's most successful movies seem to come from positive reviews, and their less successful projects came with more negative or middling reviews. For audiences, there are some movies that they're going to see no matter what, and there are some movies that they have zero interest in. Then, there are those movies that fall in the middle, and reception can be the thing that sways them one way or the other. Guardians of the Galaxy's positive reception may have convinced people to go see the movie who maybe didn't see Quantumania or the Marvels. There is a real impact of critical reception, but box office performance and that reception are only sometimes related. When talking about the success of 2023 movies, you can't talk about anything else other than Barbie and Oppenheimer. Coming in at number 1 and 3 on the highest grossing movies of the year, they represent any studio executive's dream. Some truly successful movies get almost everything right. Very good reception, massive marketing budgets, and a real desire by audiences to see the movie. These movies are theater events, and that can really help get butts in chairs. You ask most people and they want to see Barbie and Oppenheimer just to say that they have seen it. So for these movies, there is no real one factor that causes them to perform well. It's a variety of factors, and when everything aligns, you get success. But when you don't, you can get a failure, even if it does meet one of those many factors. It can be easy to look at the recent underperformance of good movies at the box office and feel melancholy about it. The important thing to remember, though, is that box office is in no way a measure of quality, and we have to think back to the lessons we have learned from history. No one saw It's a Wonderful Life in theaters, and yet now it's a Christmas classic. We don't know what movies will stand the test of time, but what we do know is it will probably have little to do with box office performance.